All right. Hey there, Spider Soldiers, Super Spider fans, my Spidey amigos. I just got done watching Spider-Man 2017, otherwise known as Marvel Spider-Man, from the Disney Channel. The first episode, which was kind of, we're picking up here with like Spider-Man's probably been Spider-Man for like a month, kind of thing, and he's definitely like a kid and he's got this super anime ass voice. And this show is hilarious. Honestly, it's very repetitive. They make a point of saying vibranium right away, which is like the Black Panther movie that I think came out roughly like a year after this episode aired. And I don't know. The first thing that I just want to say is Patton Oswalt voices Uncle Ben, which is like particularly funny because it's just this is really it reminded me of the Fox Spider-Man animated series from the '90s, but more childish and more like pushing the nerd geek aspect of it, and less the more like kind of horniness and sarcasticness of Peter Parker. It's this Peter Parker. He seemed to be only sarcastic when he was Spider-Man. That was a note I took, which is an interesting take. Um, he's like an inexperienced Spider-Man. He doesn't have the full fleshed out costume right off the bat. He's got kind of the goggly early on Spider-Man. But you're thrown right in, and it's him versus the Vulture, which is kind of a safe, fun, easy pick. It's sort of implied that the Vulture is someone who got scorned by was it Max Modell, who is man, yeah, it's actually proved more convoluted now than it seemed like it was, but basically Peter Parker is transferring to this like more elite private school called Horizon High, which is that's the name of the episode, Horizon High Part One, and basically it's because his buddy Harry Osborn, who's inevitably going to be a bad guy, I'm sure. Uh, yeah, it's just this is the worst origin story I've ever seen of Spider-Man for real. It's just like some like video game cutscene bullshit in a lot of ways. Uh, and I don't know. It's like anime dub. It felt like an anime dub, which towards the end of the episode I became more engaged in it though. However, because I kind of picked up on the tone of it. Um, Vibranium is essentially the like ultimate villain in this though, because the Vulture keeps talking about how Vibranium powers his suit or some shit, and then this girl Anya at school is showing off this like vibranium from her home country Wakanda, and it all fucks up, and Spider-Man has to save the day. Uh, I don't know. It just the tone of this was really messy, very messy. Um, but I do think that the fact that they went very lore heavy right off the bat, they sort of implied a lot of scale. Uh, but you can tell that this is post MCU. That was another thing I was doing. This is certainly like playing with the fact that a lot of this Marvel canon stuff is known by your average young viewer because they are at least familiar with the toys and all that stuff. He keeps talking about PSI. That's another thing in reference. He's got this little wristwatch kind of thing attached to his suit. It goes like from like 200 to 250 to 300 PSI. We don't know what PSI stands for. We don't know. I did read that there was like sort of like 5 really short episodes before this that were the origins, but good God knows I don't need to see the origin of Spider-Man get bit by the radioactive spider and all that. I gotta also hammer home that this thing continuously repeats like Peter Parker, like when he's Peter Parker, is constantly like over explaining in scientific terms things that are simple. You know, it's like, oh, you could just say that you're nervous, or you could, oh, I get it. You don't need to explain it exactly. And it's the whole science geek nerd. Those words are said. Science geek and nerd are said far more times in this episode than I think I've probably ever heard in anything in this amount of time, other than maybe in my own brain. Uh, right off the bat too. And the animation is pretty terrible at a lot of points. It's this horrible thing in between like cheap like uh like like anime style animation and sort of that cell shaded sort of flash kind of thing. It sits right in the middle, and it just comes off as incredibly cheap. But at some points it looks good, and some of the facial expressions in the animation are not horrible. But this is definitely the dumbest Spidey. It felt like an episode of the Venture Brothers in a bad way, which Venture Brothers is one of my favorite animated series of all time, without a shadow of a doubt. But it's like a satire of your Johnny Quests and stuff, and this felt like at least with the voice acting and with kind of some of the way that this plot played out, it felt like something the Venture Brothers would definitely get a laugh out of. Like, it felt like the Robot Chicken sketch too, like in the same kind of breath there. But that being said, the fact that it threw up so much, just like Vibranium and all this, the Vulture, all these characters like that, I might. And I read, I'm just gonna spoil it. Spoilers ahead. I saw that they pull Spider Gwen into this shit. I think Spider Gwen is hilarious. Uh, I have not read the comic, and I'm probably going to pretty quick here. But yeah, I'll keep watching. Thanks for watching.